resident of Kootenai County, and I'm here to talk about the license plate readers that the sheriff has included in their budget. And we don't want license plate readers. There's people around that have these little license plate covers over the license plates, and including one of the commissioners here. And so there's ways to get around it. Why spend that money it's going to be used for tracking and tracing and all this other stuff, and you can get away with it by putting this plate on there. I'm also concerned that there's a commissioner that is also a special deputy. Now, when he approves the sheriff's budget, is he approving it for the sheriff or for the residents that he has been elected by? It's just, it seems like there's a conflict of interest. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I'd like to address that, if I may. You're referring to myself, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, it is true that I have something on my license plate. And let me tell you something. Where you come from, where I came from, after 9/11, the city I lived in turned into a surveillance state. I absolutely despise the fact that we have become a surveillance state in so many different ways. Okay, license plate readers are just one small slice of that. To me, that is my way of protesting it. Okay, if I get a ticket for it, then I get a ticket for it. And I'll have to decide if I want to get a ticket or how many tickets I'm going to get until I change that. Just like you can, okay? So let me explain. That is the state of our country, and I don't fully appreciate that, okay? Now, I will say that there's another side to it which you haven't addressed, and that is the potential for safety, for solving crime, for stopping crime in progress, which you've never talked about. You have, and I'm curious, we might have an opportunity to discuss the statistics associated with that. The balance, of course, is in how we manage that and how we protect the privacy of citizens, okay? But with respect to that license plate issue, like I said, it's my way of protesting that, okay? And, I absolutely do not support a surveillance state. You never asked me that. You've come to many other meetings. You've never actually proposed that question or said, Bruce, can I speak to you about that? With respect to...
You even know about this until a couple days ago.
Yeah, well, and that's part of the problem is that, people get whipped up into a frenzy and they don't get all the facts. They don't talk to people. They don't get points of view and policy and things like that. With respect to the special deputy status, I've never run from that and I've never hidden that, okay? And the fact is that I have a fiduciary to you, the citizen, as an elected official. These budget meetings are held in the open. You have access to a lot of the same information that I do if you want to. Okay, there's nothing secret about the process. Okay, what my job is to figure out how to triage many of the asks, many of the requests throughout the county government, and figure out which ones are going to serve you best. And that's why we have this discussion. So I appreciate your concern, but it just concerns me that you don't even take the time to speak to the people who I presume you work hard to help get elected, and then ask them, well, what's your policy on this? What do you think about that? What about this? How would you address these other issues? So I take a little bit of offense just picking on a particular commissioner because there's something you don't like without actually taking the time to speak to that commissioner and understand where they're coming from. Thank you for your comment, and I appreciate it.
Okay, but the cameras is just the cameras. That's what we call hardware. It's the software that I'm worried about. How do you control the software? How do you control the privacy of all the data that you're collecting? And these cameras will have automatic updates, for new software that comes in. And who knows what's on that software? You have no way of controlling that. That's my issue.
And you bring up a great point. And let me encourage you, don't make this your last stop. You need to start going to all the different city council meetings because they have their own cameras. You need to go down to Boise because the state has their own cameras. And my door is always open for you to come in and talk to me about how you want this community to look so we can develop policies that achieve that end goal. But it begins with understanding what people want so that I can develop policies based upon that. And you don't make any effort to sit down and talk with me so I can focus on those policies. You focus more on criticizing me. And so all I ask from this point forward is that you feel comfortable enough to contact me, sit down with me, tell me what it is that you want to see as an end game, and then we can start talking about policy to achieve that. And like I said, don't make this your last stop. I hope to see you at Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, and down in Boise to talk to them about these license plate readers, among other surveillance state equipment that you may have an issue with.
We have met with CDA, the Transportation and the Police Department, so we have been doing that.
Okay, well, you know, it's a long process. It didn't happen overnight,
Yes.
and it's going to take a little while. But I would certainly appreciate you at least extending me the opportunity to have that discussion with you before you start kind of criticizing in some way, shape, or form an elected official whose door is open almost any time for you to come in and let's talk about where you want to be and how we can develop good policy from there. So I really appreciate it.